Coming up on Mountain News at 6, more help is on the way for communities impacted by natural disasters here in the Bluegrass. And a criminal trial continues for one Eastern Kentucky judge executive.
And we're tracking showers making a return to the region as we head through the rest of this week. Breaking down the best timing coming up as Mountain News at 6 starts now.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
Governor Beshear says the federal government will be helping hundreds of homeowners affected by flooding and tornadoes in 2021. Most of the help will come to the hardest hit areas, including Eastern Kentucky, due to flooding. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more on regions of the state that continue to recover and rebuild from multiple natural disasters.
Almost a year and a half has passed since devastating tornadoes ripped through western Kentucky. Mayfield's mayor says rebuilding is still ongoing.
If I'm standing in the center of town, we look really barren. But that looks better than all the debris that was there. But barren to me just I see opportunities.
Onan was joined by several other western and eastern Kentucky officials to hear about a major housing grant to help 600 families rebuild following 2021 natural disasters.
We have a great need for housing still. We have a good local leadership team that's working with the state, your state officials and our federal officials to identify places that we can build housing.
Governor Beshear says more housing help is coming for those impacted by flooding in eastern Kentucky last year. He says he believes they are on the fast track to receive that. Beshear was also asked about debris removal in eastern Kentucky. There's been some reports that process is moving too slowly.
Certainly, a lot of work has been done. If you have been out and seen eastern Kentucky and see where it is now, a whole lot's been done. But the work continues, and I'm not going to be satisfied until we are completely finished, both with the cleanup as well as the rebuild. And
Beshear says the $123 million to rebuild homes in the 2021 disasters comes from a HUD grant acquired by U.S. Senator Mitch McConnell.
Disaster recovery is not partisan, never should be partisan. It should be about our people and how we move forward.
Beshear says announcements about the 2022 flooding applications should be made in about 2 weeks. In Frankfort, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Governor Beshear says the rebuilding program does include rental property and people can start applying on May 1st.
It has been a rather nice day all throughout the region. You see plenty of sunshine on our camera along the Mountain Parkway. It's Slade, 71, the current reading there. There's the view from our Morehead State University camera. Also looking pretty nice out there. Temperatures in the upper 60s now. We're slowly dropping them out of the 70s where many of us were today. Still some 70-degree readings out there at this hour. Your forecast first through the night, going zone by zone. The Cumberland Valley looks a little cool tonight. I think a lot of us are heading into the mid-40s at best, or at worst, I should say, tonight as we head out there. Same thing across the Kentucky River Valley and into the Big Sandy. I think we'll see those temperatures closer to the 40s than the 30s in many locations. I don't think we're looking at another frosty night tonight, at least widespread frost. Some patchy frost, though, can't be ruled out in the sheltered valleys. This is all ahead of rain headed our way, though. I'll detail the showers moving in and when we see a return to some cooler weather coming up in a few minutes.
All right, Evan, thank you. An ongoing trial for Breathitt County Judge Executive Jeff Noble continued today. WYMT's R.J. Johnson has an update.
Judge Executive Jeff Noble is facing charges of buying lumber with county money, theft by unlawful taking, abuse of public trust, and one count of first-degree official misconduct. When the trial resumed earlier today, a witness by the name of Crystal Deaton, who had previously worked for the county, claimed the county did not follow the correct procedures for establishing a county road, stated in KRS 178.080. She says that the county receives the majority of the funding for roads through the state. However, the correct steps were not taken, causing the money not going to use. She no longer works for the county, saying she was let go in 2019, shortly after Jeff Noble took office. We will keep you updated with details as they come in, but in the meantime, In Jackson, RJ Johnson, WIMT Mountain News.
And again, little information coming out of that trial so far. We will keep you updated, though, as RJ mentioned, as it goes along. We now know the funeral arrangements for an Eastern Kentucky radio and television sports broadcaster. Harold Mullins' visitation will be Friday from 5 p.m. till 9 p.m. in the chapel of Heinemann Funeral Services. Mullins' funeral will be Saturday at 11 a.m. also at the funeral home. His burial will follow at Mountain Memory Gardens in Heinemann. Mullins died Sunday in Florida. He was 72 years old. Many people in Hazard and surrounding counties know the name Hazel Robinson. Whether you know her as a person or you've driven down the Hazel D. Robinson Way, she has impacted the lives of many people in Eastern Kentucky during her nearly 50 years working at Custom Cleaners in Hazard. But Robinson recently retired, and today WIMT's Olivia Calfee sat down with her to talk about the memories and the difference she's made.
The first day I came into work, I was scared to death. All the noise and all the clothes. But of course, as I walked off my porch that day, my father said, Hazel, you do those clothes like you do at home, and you will never have any problem. And that's exactly what I have done.
As Hazel Robinson reflects on the nearly 50 years she spent working at Custom Cleaners, she says shortly after her first day, that dry cleaning job turned into a beautiful career.
Doing people's clothes, it was like a pleasure to me. I was making something look good for somebody, you know. And if people came by and needed something, I tried to do it for them that day if I could, if they needed it, you know.
And as Hazel looks back, she says it was all part of God's plan.
I look back on my life. The day I came through the doors, I can still remember. But I look back on that and I can see what a future God had for me in dry cleaning.
A future of not just cleaning clothes, but restoring hearts.
One time I came in here like 6 o'clock. This elderly guy, he ran in. He said, I'm so mean, you know. So finally I told him about I'd been to church and had a wonderful time. And he said, I used to be saved. And I said, well, the Lord will save you again. And he talked for a little bit and he started out the door. I never will forget. And he opened it up and he said, little girl. And I said, yeah. He says, don't ever change from what you are. And I said, I won't.
A few months later, she says the man came back and told her he was saved. Time and time again, Hazel Robinson has shared her love for the Lord with customers.
We had people that would call and want prayer that day, and we would hold hands and pray. So this job was more than just the work. It was a work that God had me here to do, I think.
And now that Hazel has stepped away from that nearly 50-year-long career, she wants to thank the people.
I will miss them greatly, and they will always be in my thoughts and my prayers. And I will never, never forget you. You have been so good to me, my customers has.
And as one of her favorite songs reminds us, the best is yet to come.
But I have a feeling in my heart the best is yet to come.
That was Olivia Calfee reporting. Great story, Olivia, and I'm proud to be one of Hazel's customers for many years, and we're going to miss her. In 2017, the road Custom Cleaners is on was named after Hazel. She says she could not believe so many people came together to make that happen.
Well, not too far away now. Here comes the rain. Not on our cameras yet, but it will be soon when those showers move in. Coming up after this.
Well, we've been slowly warming back up some, but I guess don't get used to it. Another cold spell coming?
Yeah, it looks like it. We're stuck in this pattern where we've got the ridge of high pressure out west keeps them on the warm side, and then for us, well, the flippity flop. It's going to be cool. And yes, we're looking at temperatures once again below normal as we head a little bit later on in the forecast. Before then, though, showers look to be on the way. Not today, though. Pretty good shape today. We've talked about this so far today. The low pressure is well off to our west. That's keeping the high pressure in place for now. Yes, we see a few clouds working in, but we remain sunny. That's got us up near 70 for daytime highs today, and we will continue to see the potential for a few of those clouds sneaking on in. A little bit more of that frontal boundary to the south, though. We're going to start to see those showers run along that frontal boundary from this low pressure, which looks like some sort of monster movie, scary, like spider thing with the low pressure and all the spokes of energy around it. That's causing severe weather in Texas. The severe weather is going to stay well south of us, but the showers on the leading edge are heading in our direction. They'll be here as we head toward tomorrow. Quiet tonight, no big weather worries. You see a few of those clouds, but as we head toward midday, here come the clouds and here come the showers scattered about tomorrow. Not an all-day rain. Some of the rain could be heavy. Can't rule out some rumbles of thunder, some flashes of lightning. Middle and upper 60s tomorrow and into the low 70s. Not out of the question as we go zone by zone. You see upper 60s to near 70 region-wide as we head into the Kentucky River Valley. We'll do the same thing in the Big Sandy. They may actually get a little warmer in the Big Sandy. It's going to take a little longer for the clouds to get there. And again, a good soaker late Thursday night through Friday. Any one of these could contain some thunder and lightning, some brief heavy rain. But as we head through the day on Friday, we'll finally start to push these out and quiet down at least temporarily before that next round moves in toward the weekend. Looking ahead, we've talked about it again. A solid inch or half inch to an inch, even 2 inches in some spots. It's not an all, like I said, not an all-day rain. Flooding, not a huge concern, but we'll watch it. Community Trust Bank 7-day forecast, where your weekend is always in view. There's that cooler air as we head towards next week. Some of us may not get out of the 50s for highs on Monday. We'll slowly rebound through next week. Steve?
Evan, thank you. July's historic flood took a toll on everyone, but for numerous first responders, the flood brought an entirely different set of pressures and worries. Following that devastating day, several eastern Kentucky departments have gone above and beyond in serving the area. WYMT's Alyssa Williams sat down with members from one local fire department to share their story of service following the flood.
As July 28th's flood was ravaging the region, countless first responders were working to help people escape the rising waters, despite having all odds stacked against them.
Up in here, we didn't have, our phone tower went down, and so the communication was slim pickings.
Working with what they had, those with the Rusaw Fire Department in Breathitt County hit the ground running with rescues.
On the third day, we actually rescued 18 people on the third day of the flood. 12 of them was in an attic.
Once rescues were completed, volunteers shifted focus.
Immediately on the fourth day, which was on Saturday, we cleaned everything out and started doing distribution, opening up and doing what we've been doing.
Volunteers would make lists of what people needed, then work to fulfill those needs.
Well, at first it was crazy. I mean, we was super swamped. Not only our jurisdiction, you know, we took care of, but, you know, we went into the county. We delivered 50 days just throughout Breathitt County alone, not counting the other counties that we went into. And so it was hectic. There was times that we didn't get home to 12, 1 o'clock at night and get right back up 6 o'clock in the morning and do it again.
While many organizations were ending their flood relief efforts, the Rusaw Fire Department pushed on, even taking time to make holidays special for those impacted by the flood.
Well, that's the thing of it is we knew that that's going to happen. Unfortunately, I can speak for myself and my crew. I know that we've been wore out. We're tired. I mean, that's the honest truth. But when you stop and you think for a minute, what if that was me? Then the tide changes, you know. So if I was in their position and I've lost everything, then I'd want help too. And so that's kind of what keeps us going. And you know, yeah, we're tired. We are, sure we are. But we got to keep on and help these people.
And volunteers are still continuing this work, running a distribution center from their building even 8 months later.
I love the statement Ronald Reagan made, nobody can help everybody, but everybody can help somebody. And that's really true. So we just do what we can do with what we got to do with.
And when asked how much longer they will continue to give back,
and here's what we say: as long as the Lord provides it, we're going to go with it. When the Lord says, "Hey, that's it," and you're done, then we know that we're done. But until then, we're going to keep on doing what we've been doing.
from rescuing people from floodwater to rescuing them from the hardships that come after the water dries up. The 2023 East Kentucky Leadership Award for Organization goes to the Rousseau Fire Department.
We certainly thank them for all they've done. Those with the Rousseau Volunteer Fire Department say they would not have been able to do it all without the help they received from generous donors and multiple groups from North Carolina. And of course, the East Kentucky Leadership Conference begins tomorrow morning right here in Hazard. Coming up on Mountain News at 6, we announce the field of this year's WYMT Food City Mountain Basketball Classic.
YMT Mountain Sports, your home for the Kentucky Wildcats and local high school sports.
We're a little over 7 months away from the WYMT Food City Mountain Basketball Classic presented by Kentucky Farm Bureau and sponsored by ARH. And this one will be a little bit different. For the first time in event history, 8 girls teams will participate along with the 8 boys teams. I sat down with Mountain Classic Committee Chairman Archie Everidge about the move and talk about the teams that will be playing in Hindman this year.
I think the problem in the past has been just the restrictions on the time limits of being able to get so many games in within a week. And the committee has always felt like we needed to play both these tournaments within the same week. So, creating a lot more games creates a lot more expense. And so we wanted to do this gradually and make sure that we've done it right. And of course, COVID set us back about 3 years. But I think we're there. The committee has agreed, and we've come up with a really good plan to be able to implement having 8 teams. We will have to eliminate the third place game, but every team will be guaranteed at least 2 games in the tournament. And we'll have to follow somewhat of the format of the state tournament in that the girls will have to play semifinals on Saturday morning, and then they'll come back Saturday evening for the championship game. So, you know, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. But we're excited. We're thrilled to finally get there after these years of working on it, and we'll see how it goes.
Well, I'm excited to have more girls teams in the tournament. I mean, really, that side of the sport has really exploded here in the mountains over the past few seasons. But without further ado, let's actually mention the teams that are going to be playing in it. And out of the 13th region on the boys' side, we got Clay County, Harlan, and Harlan County, and that's a fun group because. You know, Harlan County, Harlan, they're always very familiar with each other, but you got a guy in Clay County as their new coach, Michael Jones, very familiar with those two schools.
Right.
Over in the 14th region, we got the hosts, Knott Central, along with Letcher Central and Perry Central. Letcher Central just won a district title, and Perry Central just not too far removed from a 14th region title themselves and made it to the championship game of the 14th region this past season. And over in the 15th region, we got Floyd Central and the defending region champions, Martin County. Talk about the girls teams that are in it for the first time, as we mentioned, 8 teams on the girls side. And out of the 13th region, we got 4. Starting with the defending champion, Corbin, the Lady Redhounds. They got Darcy Anderson back after injury last year, so they should be very, very competitive going into this tournament. They're there with the defending 13th region All-A champs, Jackson County, Knox Central as well. They're a tough team with Hallie Collins and North Laurel. And in the 14th region, we have Knott Central, the hosts, Perry Central, and Coach Smith and the Owsley County Lady Owls. And over in the 15th region, we have Martin County making the trip. Should be fun. The brackets for both tournaments will be announced sometime in the fall, and the tournament will take place on December 4th through 9th at Knott Central High School. You can catch my 10-minute interview with Archie Everidge and some backgrounds on the teams that are playing in it on WYMT.com. Well, the transfer portal stayed active as it has all week, and another former Kentucky Wildcat found himself a new home. According to multiple reports, Severe Wheeler will be taking his talents to the Pacific Northwest and joined former teammate Keon Brooks at Washington. Wheeler had an injury-plagued year this past season, but still averaged 7.7 points per game and 5.6 rebounds per game. He hadn't seen time on the court since the February 4th game against Florida. That's sports. We're back after this.
We're honored that
That's going to do it for Mountain News at 6. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. The CBS Evening News is up next, and we'll see you back here tonight at 11. Have a good night, everyone.